What's good, YouTube? Today I have a story coming out of the United Kingdom where a 21-year-old female babysitter rapes an 11-year-old boy and she literally gets off. I have an article written in The Guardian. I'm going to read that to you guys real quick and then I'll give you a couple of my thoughts. Babysitter who had sex with 11-year-old boy gets suspended sentence. Judge is criticized for saying maturity of victim and immaturity of Jade Hatt, who was 20 at the time, narrowed the arithmetic age gap between them. A judge has been criticized after deciding not to imprison a 21-year-old babysitter who admitted sexual activity with the 11-year-old boy she was looking after. Judge Tim Mosley gave Jade Hatt a suspended sentence term for the offense committed in November 2014 when she was 20. Mosley said she was immature while the boy was mature for his age, and he felt able to step outside the normal sentencing guidelines. He said, "Having read everything before me, it was quite clear he was a mature 11-year-old and you are an immature 20-year-old, so that narrows the arithmetic age gap between you." The judge also took into account that the boy's father spoke up for Hatt in court, claiming his son was fully up for the experience. However, the boy said he knew what happened was wrong, and he said he had not enjoyed it. A 6-month jail term suspended for 2 years with supervision was imposed, and Hatt was told she must register as a sex offender for 7 years. Mosley also imposed a sexual harm prevention order banning her from having unsupervised contact with young boys for 2 years. Children's charity, the NSPCC, expressed concern at the message the sentencing sent out. A spokesman said, "The judge's comments in this case send out completely the wrong message and confirm a common view in society that the abuse of a young boy by a woman is somehow less serious than the abuse of a girl by a man. The offender in this case has escaped extremely lightly, and you have to wonder whether, in the same circumstances, a man would have been treated the same. It beggars belief that Tim Mosley could say that the 11-year-old victim's maturity and the abuser's immaturity narrowed the age gap and was the reason to step outside the sentencing guidelines. This sends a deeply worrying signal. The victim's voice appears to have been ignored, as despite his father claiming that his own son was fully up for the experience. The boy himself said he had not enjoyed it and he knew it was wrong. The effects of sexual abuse can be long-lasting, and it's essential that this boy is offered the necessary support. Swindon Crown Court heard that Hatt was looking after the boy as he had a day off from school when she stripped off, removed his clothes, and had sexual intercourse. Hannah Squire, the prosecuting court attendant, told the court the defendant was friends with the boy's father, with whom she had had a brief sexual relationship. He would ask her to babysit. She had babysat his 11-year-old son on 6 or 7 occasions. On one of those occasions, this offense took place. It was during the day the boy was off school. The defendant arrived at about 11:30 a.m. Sexual intercourse took place. She told him she enjoyed it. He said he had not and it was wrong. Squire said that the boy's father noticed he had a love bite on his neck, and he found texts from Hatt that revealed what had happened. Police were called, and when arrested, Hatt told the officers the boy had told her he was 15, even though she knew his age as his father had told her. The court heard. Hatt from Swindon admitted sexual activity with a child. Rob Ross, defending, said his client was a small, immature woman and the victim was very advanced for his years. He read out a statement from his father in which he said he, the boy, is sex mad. He would have been fully up for this experience and in many ways sees it as a notch on his belt and is totally unaffected by it. Ross said Hatt clearly doesn't operate at the level of a 20-year-old and was honest with the police about what had taken place. Claude Knights, CEO of charity Kidscape, said the language used in court to describe the young victim wrongly implied he was to blame. She said, "This is a very disturbing case involving attempts to find mitigating circumstances. It must be stressed, however, that we are dealing with an 11-year-old boy who, however physically mature he might appear, he is a child in every sense. He cannot be expected to have the emotional maturity to engage in a sexual relationship. It is very sad to hear this young boy described in terms such as sex mad, which somehow implies that he was to blame for the illegal activity that took place. We have to ask about the influences that this child was subjected to." She added, "Sadly, the current sexualization of childhood is well documented. The fact that he realized that what had happened was wrong indicates that he will have been affected by this regrettable incident." So there you have it, folks. A boy gets raped by a woman and nobody bats an eyelid. The thing about this that's kind of troubling is the role that the boy's father played in this whole thing. It sounds as if he almost pimped him out to his ex-side piece. This woman used to have a sexual relationship with the father, and the judge overlooks that. Doesn't see that she could have literally been waiting for a chance to have sex with this boy. This takes monkey branching to a whole new level. She literally swung from one branch, not even from one branch, she just put hand over hand and just grabbed onto the young little sapling in the 11-year-old with the okay of the court system and the father. Another question is, how is this father not up on charges for child abuse? He's literally okaying that his son's been raped, and that's not child abuse? Anyhow, that was a young girl who was raped, and her father knew the man that did it and put her in his presence. Both men would be sitting side by side in a jail cell right now. We all know that's true. It's very sad that this is going on right now. Now for Miss Hatt, she sounds like any type of child predator, male or female. It really doesn't have a gender. That behavior is not right. It's not normal, and she exhibits every form of it. I think the best part about this whole thing is how her defense lawyer describes her to the jury or to the judge. I quote, my client is small and immature. So they're trying to paint the picture that even though this 11-year-old boy, who there's not any pictures of the kid out there, obviously, for child protection and whatever purposes, but an 11-year-old boy cannot do anything to a 20-year-old woman. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna happen. She fully took advantage of him, and she's now allowed to walk freely on the streets. Yeah, there's some order that she's not supposed to be around minors and especially boys, but predators will find a way around it. She will find a way around it. What's to stop her from having sex with the young man's father again? It's clear that he doesn't care and she doesn't care, so the likelihood of that happening or her being around is very high. So here we have it again, man. The battlefield's being brought to our boys now. They're being attacked at all levels, in the elementary schools, in the universities, in the colleges. There is no place safe for us. Make sure you protect yourselves when you're out there. Keep your head up. Snarky out.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.